The other story here on The Standard, shake-up plan as audit reveals rot in the judiciary. Report shows shocking instances of job mismatch, like security guards engaging in proofreading court documents, assessing court fees, and even updating the court diary. No laughing matter, because when you look at this, this certainly is an administration crisis when you look at it in the judiciary. So far, they have 16 job groups within the judiciary. They want to now cut it down to 11, better streamline the job groups. So when you have an issue like this, who is to blame, Honorable Manzo?
Yes, sir. First, I want to defend the judiciary because as a practicing lawyer, I have an idea what has happened over the years. Currently, they have now security firms who take care of security, together with assisted by the normal security systems or police or administrative police. What used to happen is a long time ago there used to be people who used to work in the courts. Some do security work hired directly by the judiciary, but not a security company. So with many years of experience, most of them have slowly been absorbed into the system. So there's nothing wrong with somebody who used to open the gate or just working as a security person in the courts, being upgraded and becoming a clerk or assistee, and most of them have been studying. So there's nothing wrong with them learning how to type, learning how to proofread. And with the court systems and with the legal systems, they become better with experience. So if someone has risen up the ranks and is now become a clerk or has gone through university and now can proofread, assist with the proofreading, you need a lot of staff actually for the judiciary because there's a lot of work in the judiciary. There's someone have been assisting who wanted to do an appeal, and you have to do proceedings have to be typed. In fact, you need a lot of people to type because there are very many files which have to be typed. And then for people to be able to access justice if you want to appeal. So you need a lot of staff, and the budget for judiciary had been cut. We have now reinstated quite some money, but I'm sure it's not sufficient. We need to improve it. But I also agree that everything needs to be synchronized. You need now HR experts to be able to advise the Chief Justice on the administration of the courts so that you professionalize everything within the courts.
You mentioned it's okay for someone to climb the ranks as long as they have the necessary or prerequisite qualifications. But in one of the instances, a senior procurement assistant had a secondary school certificate. They're clearly missing qualifications. What do you make of that, Honorable Wahome, when qualifications are missing for such a senior position?
Actually, the case of qualifications missing is a very major problem in this country. Yeah. Even there are some governors who have been questioned as to the relevance and credibility and integrity of their degree certificates, because it is said that either they didn't go through the entire course or the universities that they went to are not accredited, because we have a commission of university education that accredits every university, both locally and internationally. So anyway, let me come then to the judiciary. We have been talking about reform countrywide, and particularly the three arms of government that manage the government, institutions of real governance, the executive, the judiciary, and parliament. In the judiciary, if you don't have the relevant documents for the specific job that you are engaged in, then it's a problem, it's a mismatch. There has been many cases of lost documents, lost files, disappearing completely, and actually that one we normally load it to the client, because the court normally will ask the advocate or the litigant, if the litigant doesn't have an advocate, a duplication, a skeleton file, and then you have to appear before a judge to actually get an order that now becomes the court file afresh. So obviously advocates have to keep their records very well. It's not once I have reconstructed. I'm sure Dan, as a practicing lawyer, I'm sure Dan Manzo has also reconstructed. So if every advocate will tell you the story, they have reconstructed files. Why? Because somebody is trying to divert justice, to actually interfere with the processing of the case. Maybe it was coming for hearing, and the file that day disappears. So your client loses, the advocate loses. Of course, the advocate loads that daily charge, because there is a daily charge, onto the client. The client has to come back to court again. The client has to pay disbursement fees. And I think that the judiciary, especially magistrates, I haven't heard of cases of magistrates, now the actual judicial officers that are responsible for dispensing justice or administration of justice. That I think is safe. It is these other categories that you cannot move as a judicial officer, as a judge, as a magistrate, without the necessary competent support. And you'll find that then, because typing, recording of documents, and for me, it is a no-go zone for a security officer, what we call, in colloquial language, askari, to handle a court file. Because that then, he's not a court officer. Court officers is from the clerks to the judges to the magistrates. I am a court officer. Dan Manzo is a court officer. You have sworn to protect. Right. So these other officers are basically like the security guards, should be isolated from managing the files, because then it means access to very important documents is critical. Sometimes your original documents, you are titled it, and these days actually to avoid that, what judges have been doing, or judicial officers, is to ask to look at the documents quickly, and then you go back to their, because they will be stolen while in court. What does that mean? Unbelievable. Yes, that happens very many times. However, I think the judiciary has done very well in terms of ensuring that, I think the professionalism is still there. What I think is a problem is the corruption is still not yet curbed completely, and they really need to work on that so that they can restore confidence. Because, it's sad that when you go there, you lose a case, not because your case is poor, but because somebody else has accessed, either the judicial officer or has stolen your documents. You have to stay another 2-3 years. So I think what I want to say is that you have no documents, don't. It is not a problem for you to rise, to move from a security guard to a court clerk, because those jobs are advertised. Train not on the job, because you can't train on the job. Train, look, observe, learn ethics, because they also have a lot of training for the court officers. After you have employed, they go through various training, and we need to increase that training. And so when of course through the budget, and they have suffered losses on budgets. And
indeed, they have, and a lot of these administrative gaps people fear could further exacerbate, like you're saying, the corruption issues within the judiciary. Beyond them now saying, oh, we want to restructure the job groups, lessen them, and streamline a lot of the job titles, what more do you think needs to be done, Honorable Kirwa, to deal with this issue?
Yeah, first of all, let's go historical. In the past, not all lawyers had university education, but out of practice as court clerks, they were taken to Kenya School of Law for purposes of getting certification, requisite for them to be officers of court and prosecute cases in a court of law. Now that may not be the case today, but as my two colleagues have said, there's no crime in one moving from one position to the other. But in terms of human resource consideration, which I'm adequately trained in, there is a problem, because it's like an engine, it's like a motor vehicle. If there is any component that is wanting in the system, the performance of that motor vehicle will go down, even if it's the best of the cars that you have in the country. This therefore means some of these issues need to be subjected to clear human resource audit for purposes of merging the jobs with the skills available in the court. And if there is any gap between the skills that are available and the jobs that are there, then it is incumbent upon the judiciary or any competent authority to ensure that such people are subjected to training for purposes of dispensing justice. Because lawyers say that justice delayed is justice denied. And therefore some of these cases delay the process of justice dispensing. And it is important that the taxpayer is given due value for the money that we give to the judiciary.